morning, YouTube. I've been working on this little project on the side. I've been trying to figure out, you know, when I was in the Army, I wore an LBE, and nobody makes those anymore. LBEs are out of fashion. We've gone to chest rigs and plate carriers and all these other things. And I have chest rigs like this one by Blue Force Gear. I think they call this the Bear Essentials. Very good chest rig. Pouches hold on to everything. I have a plate carrier like this one by AR 500 Armor with some plates in it. And those things are okay, but they're sort of big and they're sort of ponderous and they're sort of slow to put on. So I wanted to make a belt system. I needed a belt system. And to that end, I went looking at one of my old sponsors, that being Core Essentials. You know, they make that really good ratcheting belt for a gun belt. Well, they have this. They have this inner belt, and then they have this outer belt. Neither of which I have trimmed down, by the way. The thing I like about the outer belt is because it is a ratcheting buckle. If I decide to change that holster, it's not a Cobra buckle. I don't have to take it off. But you know what? There's more information than this about this. So to this end, I decided to have a chat with a guy named Jerry Dominguez. I believe he's the vice president of sales for Core Essentials. And this is what we found out, not only about this belt, but about Core Essentials as a lifestyle destination for you guys. And it's a Zoom call, so I apologize for the video quality. So when I bring you a piece of kit, sometimes I have access to information, but nothing like this. I wanted to get some other stuff because simply because I suspected that this piece of kit is very versatile. So what I'm talking about is my new Core Essentials battle belt and the setup that I've come up with. And you're about to see the versatility of it, but just to show you just the broad range of things that Core does in addition to this battle belt and the gun belts that you know about. They're also quite the lifestyle destination as well if you're a guy. Anyway, joining me from Core Essentials is Jerry Dominguez. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. How's it going?
It's going good. You know, we've already done this once, Jerry and I didn't like the way it turned out. So this is actually take two. But, you know, it ain't a party till you break something. So let's talk about the battle belt, because this is what impressed me, because I have Core Essentials is an old sponsor of mine. I run Core Essentials belts today, but I never tried the battle belt. And the battle belt is a two belt system. So you have this inner belt, and this inner belt is quite ingenious simply because it has this mesh panel here. And when you put on the belt, if you do cinch it up, this is going to give and it's going to fold in on you, and you're not actually going to pinch yourself as you do it. It's also strong enough to where once it's adjusted, which I haven't adjusted mine yet, once it's adjusted and everything, you can wear this as your everyday belt, which in a two belt system, that'd probably be something you wanted to do. This right here, I've never seen an inner belt that was designed to collapse on itself. Who came up with that idea?
Let's see. Well, when they created the belt, they wanted something that was going to be quick and versatile. And the biggest problem is when you're wearing a two belt system, you run two buckles, and that seems to be a problem with anyone.
Right.
So you wear the inside belt, and it's got a buckle. You got to put it to one side or move it out of the way. But the problem is when you put the outer belt on, and it doesn't fit. Now you've got to readjust the inner belt, and you're playing back and forth, belt tag, if you will. You're tightening the inner belt so the outer belt fits. The day goes by and you've eaten some things, you grow a little size, and now it's uncomfortable. So you're having to adjust the outer belt so you can loosen in the inner belt. They did away with that, and they said, you know what, let's just create the inner belt so that it has a mesh portion so that it collapses on itself, which now works in concert with the ratchet belt system. So you can now adjust it at will. And it's great. Sitting around, get ready for your match. You listen to the brief, you're wearing it loose. As soon as it's go time, you tighten the belt and you're ready to go. It's fantastic.
Well, let's talk about the outer belt. Now, the outer belt has the ratchet system, which is just pure genius. Mine is set up, and this is where we're going to talk about the versatility of this. Mine is set up with loops. And once again, this one hasn't been adjusted either. Mine has been set up with loops. I cannibalized some Kydex systems from some Kydex pieces from a high threat concealment belt to put on here because I already had a pouch system. So I've got room for 3 AR mags and 2 pistol. And my holster, I use different Safariland hook setups for my holster, and I use this drop leg. But the thing that I like about this, because this is not a Cobra buckle, if I want to change this holster and go to a holster that rides just on the belt, this just slides off, and I don't have to take off the buckle. And of course, like, I'm not a competitor, so if I'm wearing this, probably the apocalypse has happened. So when I'm getting in the car trying to run away from my life, when I've got it all cinched up in my battle configuration, when I sit down in the car and my ample middle expands, I can loosen this and still keep my gear on and still remain all set up and everything else. Now, I think that in and of itself is fantastic, except yours is set up a completely different way. And this belt handles 2 different types of attachments, which I don't normally see in most other offerings. How's your belt set up?
Well, like yours, I had the exact same one. I use the tan, Coyote tan. I have the racket belt system. I have, my inner belt. I know it looks like it fits a small child, but this is my actual gear. So, but what I enjoy the most is that I use Wilder Tacticals gear. It's fantastic stuff. Just to give them a quick shout out.
Right.
But I've mollied everything on it so that I have 100% contact on the entire Velcro portion. Like you, I run a Safariland type. I use a quick release so that if I want to change out pistols, I can do that as well. But it fits most, if not all, types of gear. So if you want to clamp it on, slide it on, molly it on, it's going to work for any system that you have for the most part. And then from there, it becomes a variety of, whatever you want to put on it.
And that's a good part about it. So most everybody out there that's probably looking for a battle belt probably has some pouches. So whether you got malice clips, molly straps, whatever it is, it will work on this. But if you're like me and you've got some Kydex stuff with loops, that will work on this. So everything works on this. And you did make a point. You guys came out with a new buckle, because my buckle is the honeycomb buckle. You guys came out with a different buckle for those more serious types that might want to look more professional, or I don't know what it would be. What would we call that?
Yeah, well, it's a plain buckle, but
Right.
And I apologize, but I'm going to run out for just 1 second.
Sure. This setup is nice.
And I apologize because I left it on my workbench. But anyhow,
this is why we have editing software. There's the plain buckle. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why anybody would look at my buckle and say that's not good enough for me, but that's okay. Different strokes for different folks, and you covered that base.
Yeah, and honestly, we did that because law enforcement.
Right.
I do have a lot of law enforcement agencies that are now wearing our battle belt. They absolutely love it because of having to sit in a vehicle and being able to adjust the belt. Now, I'm former law enforcement, and I understand what it's like to be on patrol. You're sitting down. The only way you can get relief is standing up because the belt's on. You can't adjust it. Now, you don't even have to get out of the vehicle. You just pop a few notches and you're comfortable. But the reason we created this one is so that it was non-descriptive.
All right. Now, speaking of, you did that for LEO. You guys have some iPro that are, we can call it iPro, but they're actually just really cool sunglasses with some really unique attributes. So let's talk about them real quick. For people that are kitting up, this would be something they would want.
Oh yeah, so when you go from tactical to tactical, you have to have great sunglasses. And so Core designed some sunglasses and decided, hey, we need to make these so that you don't have to take off your cool pair to go to the second cool pair and vice versa. So they created this cool little case, this case that it comes in, and they're polarized and they're ANSI rated. So they're the highest rating for ballistic eyewear, so you can wear them on the range and be protected. The best part of these glasses is when you're wearing them, you put them in your shirt, you lean over, they go straight in the dirt.
Right.
Oh, they put a magnet in them. So now I can clip it on my shirt, it's not going anywhere because of a magnet.
They also ship. Do they ship with the strap, or is the strap extra?
Yeah. So I believe, and they do, they ship with a strap. There's a strap, a sun visor strap. So you strip it on the top, and when you're done wearing your glasses, you put them on the roof of your vehicle, or not on the roof, but on your sun visor.
I had to.
Case.
Yeah.
And
I had to take my son had to take me to get my car, and he's the one that he has appropriated my pair of Core Essential sunglasses. And as I was sitting there and I was looking at him, I was like, so how bad do you like those? He said, I just stuck them up there on overhead on his visor. I was like, I wonder what that would take to get you to let go of those. I may have to look into I may have to look at my sunglass drawer and see. And it'll be that if he doesn't let me have them back, it'll be because they're magnetized and he never loses them. So
yeah, it's a fantastic idea and they work really, really great. So.
As far as lifestyle is concerned, and I mean, for every guy out there, every guy is wearing a watch. And when Core Essentials was my sponsor, they did not have these, because otherwise you'd be seeing one on my wrist right now. But
that would be
they
nice.
have come out with some very nice watches, and these very nice watches that are affordable. So let's look at these watches real quick, Jared, because these are cool.
Yep. So again, when I started the company last year, they were developing some watches. They were in the R&D phase of it. And long story short, they didn't want to just produce any type of watch. So they said, hey, you know what? We need to make sure that it's a high-end watch. Everybody makes watches, but nobody makes cool watches. So we created the core watches, the Excursion and the Field Watch, which is, the Excursion and the Eclipse. So one's a 5 joule movement. If you know your joule movements, it's a company out of Rwanda that we use, which is in Switzerland. So it's got Swiss-made parts, and it's assembled that way with the Swiss parts on it. So here is the Excursion, and I think we can get that in there a little bit. It is a fairly great watch. This is the 5 joule movement, and it is fantastic. Then lastly, here we have the Eclipse.
The dive watch.
Dive watch. And it's up to, I think it's 30 ATMs. I think that's atmospheres.
Right.
But it is super nice. I hope you get one of these for Christmas, and I keep bugging the boss here, getting us those. But are you ready for this?
Now wait a minute. I'm going to do the Foley. I'm going to do the Foley work here, because I don't think that'll make enough noise. But we're going to do this because the watch band is the same ratcheting system as the
that is correct. So I have a watch band that's pretty nice at home, leather, but I have to poke a hole in between. Well, This is now a new ratcheting system.
There you go. I gave you a little Foley treatment to that, a little audio treatment.
Yeah, let's see if I can
hear the ratcheting system.
Yeah, you can barely hear it on here, but yeah, it's ratcheting system, so you can tighten it to your wrist size perfectly each and every time.
That's the thing. That's the thing about the ratcheting system. With all of the gun belts, you're never hitting. You're either a little too tight or you're a little too loose. And with the ratcheting system, it's plus you're sizing the belt yourself. You know, I would size it with a little bit of room to grow, but you're sizing the belt yourself, so you can. I mean, there's no reason not to wear this belt. Anyway, I just wanted to show this stuff because I despite the fact that they're no longer my sponsor. That was a business decision. It has nothing to do with how I feel about the gear. I still think the gear is top notch. This is my battle belt. You'll be seeing more of this as I use it on the range and everything else. And well, you can find it at coreessentials.com. Are you guys going to have any specials for Christmas or anything, by any chance?
You know what? I believe there is, but I'm gonna give you one better.
Okay.
'Cause even after all the specials are done or whatnot, and you're still on the fence of giving it a try, you can use MAP or Mike Alpha Papa 15 for 15% discount. That's my personal code. I often give it out to friends and family, if anything, if I'm not giving them gifts already.
Okay.
But you know, anyone I see on the range or someone who's struggling with gear, and say, hey, you know what, you gotta try this, and you know what, I'll give you the discount so you can try this.
So is that uppercase or lowercase MAP? It looks like it's uppercase to me. I saw that pop up when.
You know, I think the internet's evolved enough that it doesn't even matter if it's uppercase
Okay.
or lowercase, but
Okay.
either way, it's Mike Alpha Papa or MAP 15, and get yourself a 15% discount. But I know that we're gonna be having a holiday sale as well. I couldn't tell you exactly what the percentage off is, but still, it's well worth the purchase, I'll tell you that.
It's worth the purchase just because we filmed this one time before, and I was so distraught with how my end of the video came out that
I think it looks great.
I called Jerry right away, and I was like, listen, I looked at this, and this was horrible. Can we do it again? So we finally get to do it again. I want to thank you. I thank you for your infinite patience.
No worries.
Essentials.com. My regards to Mr. Kozak, and of course, my regards to you, sir. Thank you very much.
I appreciate the time and the effort that you do in doing this and getting this information out to your followers and your viewers. So anytime, just give me a call.
Thank you, sir.